My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Beau is Afraid. And this is a movie I had zero interest in. Like, everything I've heard about it makes it sound like Ari Aster's got his head so far up his own ass. And it just doesn't sound like my kind of movie, and it's garnered some divisive opinions. Some people calling it a career killer, saying they despise it and it's one of the worst movies ever made, while some people love it, calling it brilliant and a work of art, and there's people in the middle. So reactions are just all over the place. Where do I land on it? I liked more in this movie than I didn't like, but it's certainly a very uneven and messy movie at times. But let's begin talking about the direction by Ari Aster. And hot take, I prefer Midsommar over Hereditary. I think they're both very well made movies, but Midsommar is my preference of the two, and I think his directing here is very strong. He's really got a firm hold on the tone of the movie, and visually it is beyond impressive. The cinematography is top notch, it's really well edited, and there's this sequence in the middle of the movie with incredible animation and production design, so that really impressed me as well. And this movie doesn't play it safe. It's bold and ambitious, and sometimes that can really pay off. Other times I found it to be insufferable, but he's really going for it here, so I'll give him that, and the cast also does a really great job. Joaquin Phoenix carries this movie incredibly well. He brings his character to life in a very believable manner. Patty Dupont is really good, especially in the last act. She just commands the screen. Amy Wine, also really good here. And Nathan Lane, it's nice to see him back. He does a great job, but the most underrated performance of this movie for me was Kylie Rogers. I thought she was fantastic. She was so over the top and it really worked. Her character made me laugh a few times and I was impressed by her work here. Now, when we get to the actual story and the script of the movie, that is where it becomes a bit uneven and a bit messy, because the truth is, the first hour and a bit of this movie, I loved. I was sitting down thinking to myself, is this actually going to be one of my favorite movies of the year? Like, it captures just everyday anxiety so perfectly, but they also exaggerate it to comedic effect in just a way that really worked for me. I found the first hour and a bit to be hilarious, and I was loving every minute of it. But after the Nathan Lane and Amy Wine section of this movie, the ball goes into the woods. And like I said, there was some great filmmaking here. There was one scene involving a guy with a machine gun that cracked me up really good. But this area just killed the movie's pacing for me. Just easily the biggest drag of the entire runtime. Still some good elements to it, but my point still stands. And then we get to the last act, which I'm a bit mixed on, because I get what the movie's going for, but it really beats you over the head with it. And it really goes for it in a few different moments here. There's one scene in an attic that I actually found to be hilarious. But then the note the movie ends on, involving a stadium of sorts, really didn't work for me. So, the last act is a really mixed bag. So, I get what this movie's going for about someone processing their traumatic childhood and the opportunities taken from them. And it's also focusing on this character whose abusive parent dies, and he doesn't know what to think of it. There's also an element of this movie that explores anxiety. And I think it does lots of this very well. It's not subtle. It pretty much screams at you what the movie's about. But I think it's still explored in some very unique manner, and you always get the sense that this is a character who has gone through this stuff. And I think Walking Phoenixes really heightens that. And also, one detail I love is how Beau is just struggling financially at the start of this movie. He lives in the worst part of a city. And then we get to his mom's place at the end of this movie, and she's successful and rich. And that is enough to tell me what their relationship was like, and I didn't need it to be screamed in my face. So, yeah, like this movie, I'm very all over the place on. I definitely respect some elements of it. The cinematography, like I said, is outstanding. It's very well directed, and it's also got a really unique sense of humor, and it really goes for it. And the cast all does a good job, and even in the most boring section of the movie, it still blew me away on the production design and the animation. And I don't know, it's an uneven movie. It's very inconsistent. It's a bit messy, but there's so much here that I really do love. And it's one I can see myself thinking about for a bit and revisiting. It's, for a divisive movie like this, sometimes I despise it, like The Whale, or sometimes I love it, like Babylon and Muzzle. And this is one of those times where I'm right down the middle, but a bit most positive. The first hour really made me laugh. Like, there's one joke of this guy telling Beau to shut up, pretty much, and just pitch perfect. And the scene when he goes to this 7-Eleven type of store, that really cracked me up. And man, just talking about it now, the movie's not always perfect. It doesn't get everything right, and it can really be pretentious to an insufferable degree, but there's lots here I do love. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Beau is Afraid a 6.5 out of 10. So now between this movie, Hereditary, and Midsommar, I can actually see myself getting excited for the next Ari Aster movie. I wasn't there before this one, but this one put him over the edge for me, and now I look forward to see whatever it is he does next. And hopefully it's a bit better than this movie. But have you seen Beau is Afraid? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon, and Gavin out.